Hi, I'm Mark Gaylor. I'd like to introduce you to a workflow that I have for adding texture and borders to an image. I've created actions for each of these steps, and these actions are actually available from the markgaylor.com website. Now we can come over to the guided edit in Photoshop Elements, and then we need to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the guided edits to Action Player. Okay, now I've selected the APE, Adobe Photoshop Elements Borders and Textures preset here, and then we can select the individual ones from this menu here. And the first thing I'm going to add to this image is a subtle grain. This will replicate an old analog film look, and this is much more sophisticated than simply adding noise inside of Photoshop Elements. So we're going to click on the Grain Subtle, and then we can click on the Play Action button. Now this little dialog is inviting me to browse to the folder or the resource pack containing the grain, textures and borders. Okay, and these come with the actions, and so all I need to do is hit the continue button and then browse to my resource pack. Now I put the resource pack on the desktop here, and you can see that we have the option of going into the grain folder here. Now we're working with a horizontal image, so I'll just select that horizontal, and then we'll select perhaps a large grain. And these come in different sizes, from small, medium, large and extra large, and so we'll click on the place button in order to place this grain texture. And then we simply need to hit the return or enter key, or this little green commit current operation check here, and that will apply this. Now I can go back to the main edit space. If I don't have a format image that actually fits this grain structure, then I can simply go to back to the main edit and just do a free transform on the layer that this is creating to make it exactly the same size as the image I'm working on. I'll show you how that works a little bit later. So we're just going to hit continue here. The next step I'm going to add is a paper texture. So again, from the menu number 2 here, I'll select the textures, and again we'll apply a subtle texture rather than a strong one. And again we can hit the play action, and again it's inviting me to go back to that resource folder, and this time I'm going to go back to the resource pack and choose the textures. And again, this is a horizontal image we're working on, so I'll click on the horizontal folder, and we've got a number of different textures here. I'm interested in one with some heavy creases in the paper, which we've got here, and also some darkened edges. And so I'm going to hit the place button for this texture number 3 here. And again, this precisely fits the image I'm working on, because I'm working with the native aspect ratio of the sensor that captured this image. So there's going to be no resizing necessary. So I'll just hit that commit current operation, and again continue. Okay, last step to this process is to add a white border, and again this gives us that analog or film look. This replicates an old effect called the Polaroid transfer effect. And so we're going to come over to a white border right at the top here, and then click on the play action. And again we're going to browse to that resource pack and pick up my ESP borders, and we're going to pick up a white horizontal border, and the one that gives me the Polaroid transfer look is border number 1 here, and so we'll just hit the place button to apply that, and again we'll hit that commit current operation, and that's applied that beautifully. Okay, and again we'll hit the continue. Now, as I said, if these grain, texture and borders don't precisely align with your image, then we can simply just go back to the full edit menu here. Let's take a look, and as you can see, here's my grain layer, and here's my texture or paper layer, and then we have the ESP border. Now we also have, and I'll just show you this, we also have a clipped adjustment layer to that paper layer. The paper is actually a very warm tone, and so we actually have the option here of I've taken out that warm tone by default, but you can actually push that back in if you prefer that warm tone of the paper to flow through to your image. Okay, I'll take that back out. And as you can also control the lightness of any paper texture by just dragging that darker or lighter, and that also controls the overall brightness of the image we're working with. Okay, I'll just collapse that panel. Now I was going to show you how we can resize any of these texture layers if they're not precisely aligning with your image. And all we need to do on a PC is Control T. On a Mac that would be Command T to bring up the transform dialog. And this allows me to resize the border so that you can size it for the image that you're working on, like so. I'll just hit the cancel current operation here. To return back to that normal one. Now if you've obviously applied multiple of these effects and textures, then you can shift click from the top to the bottom and then link these files. Okay, and now when I come to transform them, again I'll just hit the Control T on a PC or Command T on a Mac, and now if I perhaps create a sort of a square format image for these textures, and I'll just bring that over just to the right side of that bird and the lamppost there. Now I've created more of a square format image. Then I can hit the commit current operation, and you'll see that what's happened is all three of those textures have transformed at the same time because they're linked. I'm now free to come in with that crop marquee and just crop that image to a square format, and then hit the commit current operation. And there. So even though some of these textures or borders might not align with every format of image you're working on, it's quite an easy or simple operation to make them fit your project image that you're working on. All of these actions and all of the resource pack that come together can be downloaded from markgaler.com. That's it. I've been working in Photoshop Elements 10 today, but this does work on older versions of Photoshop Elements.